The Spanish Announce Table.
It is the Spanish Announce Table, as you just heard. I'm Tim. That is Tom. I always forget. The camera's flipped. I got to point the other way. Oh, if you're listening to the podcast, you're wondering about a camera? We do this show live. Live MFers right here on the YouTube Thursday nights, precisely exactly 7:18 every week, right on the dot. How's
One true time zone. Yes, right here in Arrowhead time. We are going to be talking about AEW. Yes. But Tim, we have some news. You want to tell everyone the news?
We do have some news. This one will be interesting to see how our long-term fans like this one. We have discussed. Look who's in the chat. We're going to talk about this guy coming up in a moment. Should we just do that first?
Yeah.
Let's do that first.
Yeah, let's do that first.
Mr. Fourth Row is in the chat giving us some claps or a wave or something. I don't know what that is. That emoji.
Mr. Fourth Row. And here, I want to also give a little bit of a PSA. You too could be like Mr. Fourth Row and send us things. But he sent us.
You could send us stuff.
Yeah. He sent us some great t-shirts. RMP Radio, Rocky Mountain Pro Radio, for those who don't know. You can check it out on Apple, all the places you get a podcast, right?
Flugel.
He gave us
whatever you
gave us
right.
Gave us a shirt, which I got to meet up with Tim this weekend, which we will be doing. Get you your shirt. And then he also got us these Shocktober Rocky Mountain Pro like pumpkin things. And the cool thing about this, especially for me, Rocky Mountain Pro Heavyweight Championship. So now, if I wanted to, I could have MJF not only be your AEW champion, but your Rocky Mountain Pro Heavyweight champion, huh? How about that? So,
you can get some title versus title matches going on over there.
No, I tell you what, if you don't know about Rocky Mountain Pro, really great organization, really great pro wrestling over there. A lot of big names have been over there. Some friends of the show like Sharkbait, Regal Twins, Dak Draper, the Howlets have also been there. They've had Rocky Romero as well. So really great wrestling. Mr. Fourth Row informs your ass about that. So check them out. Again, RPM Radio, Rocky Mountain. No, RMP.
Right.
RMP Radio.
Yep.
Check it out wherever you get a podcast. Mr. Fourth Row for your ass, giving you that hot news out of Colorado.
Was so unbeknownst to me. Like you call me one day and you're like, oh, by the way, I got some gifts.
Yeah,
he
reached out and he was like, he's like, hey, what size shirts you are? I'm like, So Mr. Fourth Row, just fly for you. After we break this news, as things unfold, you may also be getting a gift, maybe. So we may be reaching out to you sooner rather than later, but that is all to tell you that we have news.
How are we going to meet Mr. Fourth Row? I feel like he's one of our longest reigning listeners, contributors.
We should go out to Colorado. We should go out to Rocky Mountain Pro.
Have we met didn't we run into him at some point somewhere? Or am I just misremembering that?
Brother, I don't know who I talked to. There's things at work when people are like, hey, don't you know that Michael has to sign off on that? I'm like, who the fuck is Michael? Like, how long have you been here? I'm like, 5 years. And they're like, you don't know who Michael is?
For the life of me, I'm trying to rack my brain. And man, in all the travels, I've met so many people from this show and several other shows. I can't, man. It would have had to been a wrestling event because I don't know when else. Right?
Mr. Fourth Row, have we met you? Now, look, again, if we did, I've got mashed potatoes for brains, so you can't really blame me. But let's get to the news. Let's get to our
Get to the news.
Biggest news.
Jeffrey Sills is in the chat. He says, what's up, boys? The episode was good, but Kenny and Jericho promo was cringy. We're going to talk about that as we talk about AEW Dynamite.
Yes.
We got a lot to say about that, but we do have some news about the Spanish Announce Table and the new year coming. Of course, as tradition, we're going to come up with coming up here in the next couple of weeks, we're going to have probably a Christmas episode, I would assume, some sort of Dear Santa episode. We might have a year-end review, awards, etc., like we always do right here on the Spanish Announce Table. But I think we might be turning over a new leaf, Tom, maybe even a change of brewing. And we're going to go through a rebrand. I think this is, there's some time that we thought about this and put into this, and we're going to change up the name, presentation a little bit. But we need you all to stick with us, right? I think you're going to enjoy it, but I think we're just going to be hitting a little more. I don't know the best way to put this, right? We're gonna dial in a little more, right?
Yeah, we're gonna be more focused in on what we want to talk about. Now, again, when we do this unveiling, which will be happening in 2 weeks or so, you'll kind of get a little bit more information about that. But we want to focus in on specifically what we want to talk about, and that comes with the name, which will focus in on the subject. And also, it's just a good refresh. It's a good time to, start new, get a little bit different audience, get a little bit different reach. And like we said, be more specific and focused in on what we want to talk about. Now, as always, we will always talk about what you want to talk about. So later on in this show, Ash sent us a clip. I haven't heard it. Whatever that is about, we will answer it. So with that being said, most of you know by now that we're not the biggest WWE fans. So if you do want to know who we think will win the Royal Rumble, for example, we'll answer it. However, it most likely won't be an informed answer, because we're only seeing things that come across our social media. So got a lot of great stuff coming your way. The rebrand I'm very excited about. We're going to have new social media handles and all of that stuff. So we will either be reaching out directly to you to make sure that you're on with us. And as always, when we do that, tell a friend. Apostrophe S.
Yeah, tell a friend. And, this isn't necessarily to be the death of the Spanish announce table. Of course, we'll still have, things peppered out to make you know what it is. And of course, it's still us. The show ain't really changing up a whole lot. We're just gonna try to hit our target audience a little better. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. I think that's going to be the intended focus, is to reach out to people specifically who are interested in what we're interested in. As always, pro wrestling is big enough that if you like things that we don't, that is totally fine. However, we want to talk about things we want to talk about, and we want to talk about those things who like the things we like. And so with that, again, I think the rebrand is going to be exciting. I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be easier for you to tell your friends what we are. That's another exciting thing, because let's be honest, the Spanish announce table 11 years ago was a little bit more of a known reference. As time is going on, less and less people know what that means. And so with the rebrand, I think you'll be able to tell your friends a little bit more about who we are. And like Tim said, we are not going anywhere. We're not going to switch it up. I'm still going to rant. I'm still negative. I still have a tumor. I still get angry. So you're going to get all that fun when the rebrand happens. And like we said, new social medias, handles and all that stuff will be coming soon. So be on the lookout for that. And with that being said, Tim, let's get into, as I mentioned, Ash's call, huh?
Yeah, so, and for the time being, you can still send us stuff to tableshow@gmail.com. If you want to send us an audio clip, you want to send us a video clip, you want to send us an email, send us that stuff, and we'll talk about it here on the show. And we're going to get into, seems like every week, gosh, Jeffrey Todd's in the chat now. We got so many friends right now. I feel loved. Let's get into Ash Hendricks' call.
What's up, gentlemen? It's Ash. Got another question for you. I got a day off from work, which is great, so I like that. Excuse me. I'm literally watching Dynamite right now. Jay Lethal is and Russia just started wrestling. But I've got a few questions for you. Oh, first though, T-Mac, we got some MMA talk. We got to go in there. I've got Leon. I've got Pantoja. I've got Paddy. I've got Shavkat, and I had Ian Gary, but he's off the card now, and Luke Kane got a replacement. But I had Ian Gary going into that. My question for you then, number one, is who do you think is going to win? And also, I need your opinions on this whole Ian Gary situation, because you know what I mean? Like, this whole these last few weeks have been crazy. I just want to know what you have to say about that. Right now, my question, wrestling-wise, for both you, man, is what are your biggest pet peeves in wrestling? I think I might have asked you this before, but I just want to get another opinion. You know what it is, man. You know what I can't stand? It's when people do the 2 counts, and it's like they do the false finish, and then the wrestler sits there with their mouth wide open, like, oh my god, it didn't work. This move that never works didn't work again. Oh shit! Like, you know what I mean? Hate that shit so much. And fake injury angles, can't stand them either. I feel like we've seen a lot of those recently as well. Not a fan. So Yeah. Yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, okay, that's everything. Have a good show, boys. If someone can get me, if one of you guys could finance a plane ticket for me so I can come over there and start stealing people's shoes, that'd be great. And yeah, just have a good week and have a good show. Peace.
Yeah.
I like it. All right, let me get start with
you
the
got
MMA.
money, right?
Yeah, I'll use you. Yeah,
We'll
brother,
send
I
the
got.
ticket. Yeah.
Look at this. Look how much money I got. Look, if you're looking at that, look at that. I got
This is
$10,000 right here, right there. Huh? How about
That'll
that?
get him. That'll get him over here. That's a
I
a
would
first
think so.
class.
I mean, look at it, real money. Look at $10,000. Everyone carries money in a yellow bag that has it marked $10,000.
First class is fine. He doesn't need a private flight, right? Like we don't need to call
Easy.
it private.
Okay, yeah. All right, let me get through the UFC MMA talk real quick. I got Leon. I think Colby Covington sucks. I don't think he's beat anyone in the top 15 in 6 years. I think Leon will get pressured, but then his technique will overcome the pressure from Colby and Leon will win. But again, anything could happen, right? I think the upset will be in the co-main event. I've got Brandon Royval. I think he's really good. Pantoja's awesome. I just have a feeling. It has nothing. I have no facts or anything to back it up. I just have this feeling that Brandon Royval, he has something, and I think he's going to do it. Wonder Man, he calls himself Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, but now he's 40, so I call him Wonder Man. He's going to lose, unfortunately. Love him. But Shavkat is undefeated. He ain't losing. He ain't losing a round, probably. It'd be cool if Wonder Man won, but not going to happen. I got Patty as well, although Tony Ferguson's weird, and that Weirds Mobile can always get you a fun shot to the face. David Goggins, the ultra marathon runner, is cornering Tony Ferguson. He's never been in a fight that I know of, so that's a interesting tactic, but we'll see how that works out. And then I hope to God Josh Emmett ends Bryce Mitchell, not kills him, but ends him. Like, I hate Bryce Mitchell. I don't like this motherfucker at all. So I'm really hoping Josh Emmett just puts one on his chin and sends him to the fucking, shadow realm. So that is my picks. Again, I got my upset. My upset would be Brandon Royval. So we'll see.
I'm going to surprise you with this one, Tom. I've got a lot of opinions on all of these things. However, I agree with all of the ones you said.
Well, as I should. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
You actually have been, I know you don't watch MMA, but you are aware of Colby Covington. You may not realize it, though. Yeah. He's the motherfucker that goes out and hangs out with Trump and all that shit.
Yeah. No, I know the name. Yeah, we've talked about him because of it. And he is
a cocksucker. So
yeah.
And it's fake.
Capital
Here's the reason why.
Fun over there.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Here, 2 reasons why I really hate him. 1, his gimmick sucks, and 2, he can't do the shitty gimmick. So that's like the shitty part about it is it's a piece of shit gimmick, and then he sucks at doing it. So it's just all bad all around. So fuck him.
Yeah,
that's what I have to say.
Now to get to Ash's wrestling thing, I think he did ask as a pet peeves, but I've got ones that I know that like bother me right now, and there's 2 ones that stick out. It's when we run it back, right? It's we just had an amazing title match. And then tomorrow, or whatever it is, Monday or Wednesday, whatever show you're watching, right? We get the next show and they go, we're not done here. And we fucking, for the next 3 months, got to do the same goddamn shit. Now, I'm happy to say, in All Elite Wrestling, the show that we love, I feel like they do that less. Than some major competitors. But that is a pet peeve of mine. I'm like, can we not do this again? Like we did this, like, oh, I don't want to watch this again. But I would say count out procedures right now. Tom, when was the last time you saw a match end and count out? Like that was like any kind of realistic thing. Like I just, what is the point of even this overdrawn 7? The count to 10 takes 45 fucking seconds to begin with. Like, can we tighten this up or just not, like, it's not real? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah. All of those, I agree with all of those things. The rematch thing, if if the one guy cheated and the guy says, I want that back because he didn't beat me.
Sure.
Right.
If it fits in the story,
yeah. But to Ash's comment, I wholeheartedly agree. When it's like, your signature move, not the finisher, and you go for the 3 count and they kick out and you're like, what? It's everyone knows you've never won with that move. Stop it.
Even the Young Bucks, like, so yeah, okay, you guys do super kicks, but like I've seen the super kick get kicked out of more times probably than I've seen it end a match. You know what I mean? Like, even though it's your finisher, even though it's like the final thing, you still do it more times than it doesn't in the match than you do it than it does. So why are you acting surprised that it didn't in the match? Is weird.
Yeah, that would be up there as far as my top pet peeves. Now, I will go jump over to WWE. The biggest pet peeve I have right now, and I think I mentioned it a few weeks ago, is the last man standing stipulation. It's not bury the motherfucker or tie their feet together so that where they can't stand. That's not last man standing. So, like, I don't like
I've
that.
got another one.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've got another one. I've said it recently, is that how wrestling for a long time was people's champion versus authority figure, right? Like, evil authority figure is trying to keep everybody's favorite down. And we ran that into nausea over and over and over and over and over again. I will give some props to WWE for this. I feel like they're doing the authority figure better now. They're a corporate entity. Adam Pearce and
Adam Pearce.
What's the other guy's name all of a sudden? The
British guy.
Magnus.
Yeah. No,
they do it right.
Either.
They feel like an actual head of talent relations coming in and being like, what's the fucking problem? You know, or a general manager and somebody being like this, and they go, okay, well, you got fucking figure. Like, you know what I mean? They don't have a vendetta. They're not controlling the show out to do things. They're a literal decision maker, right? And I
Nick
like
Aldis. Nick Aldis. That's
Nick
his name.
Aldis. Yes.
Yep.
Nailed it.
Yes, I would say Adam Pearce specifically, because Nick Aldis has been doing it not as long, but Adam Pearce is doing a great job of like, hey, my hands are tied, so here's the decision, and then
mostly impartial.
Yeah, it's been very good.
The subtlety with that I like with Adam Pearce is he's mostly impartial, always tries to come impartial, but he still has a human response to dickheads. You know what I mean? Where he's like, sucks, my hands are tied, you fucking, you know what I mean? Like, made your own fucking bed, dumbass. So that's a nice touch. I'll give him that. So,
yeah, but yeah, I would say to wrap it up, my top two would be the move you've always done, and you go for a pin, and you're shocked that it didn't work. Which on the flip side would be the maybe the critique, or maybe what we can work on is have it in some matches. You know what I mean? Like, have Sami Zayn's Blue Thunder Bomb actually win the match. You know what I mean? And then two would be the last man standing is meant to like incapacitate you, not, well, I'm buried behind the announcer's desk. That's
if I picked one, I'm picking my count out. Like, let's tighten this up. Let's actually get some people counted out. Let's first of all not make it take 45 seconds, right? If we want to highlight some people fighting on the outside, then it's got to be a 20-second thing, or it causes a count out, which leads us to the next week or something. Like, let's actually do something to where it feels like we're wasting everybody's time. So,
well,
what wasn't wasting our time was Ash Hendricks' call, right?
That's what I was gonna say. And you can leave a voicemail on the Table Show voicemail, whatever, and we're gonna rebrand that in the new year as well. And as Tim said, for the time being, send an email, a video clip, a voicemail to tableshow@gmail.com. We will review it and put it on the show and talk about it. And again, all topics are open. As you just heard, we talked a little UFC. So yeah, with that being said, let's get into last night's AEW. How about that, huh?
Yeah, I'm excited about this. I feel like we had a mostly good show. There's some stuff that we'll talk about.
Well, it kicked off.
We're going to invite folks in the chat too, as always. Remember, join in the conversation. If you're listening back later on the podcast, you're missing out by not joining in on the conversation. All right, Tom, let's talk about some AEW Dynamite. It kicked off
with Samoa Joe. And it's interesting to see Samoa Joe walk out because he's in such a unique spot, because technically he's a heel, right? Technically he's going after our babyface champion, MJF. However, he's the coolest motherfucker we got going right now. It feels that way. You know,
we all want
Swerve's
to
up
be
there
like
as well.
Samoa Joe.
Yeah, Samoa Joe, that legend status ass kicker. When he walks out, you just have to respect it. And he comes out and he talks about how last week MJF got jumped, and when he got to the scene of the crime, it smelled like Stetson and whiskey, I think is what he said.
Stetson and disappointment. Yeah. He said, I've smelled this before.
Yeah, which is alluding to Hangman Adam Page. And Hangman says, hey, brother, you say my name, I'm going to dance. And he walks out and he goes, you accusing me? Just say it. And he goes, Samoa Joe then responds with, oh, no. I wasn't accusing. I was telling you that
Yeah, he's
I'm
like, I
going to
decided.
take
Yeah, he said, I'm not
Yeah.
out here as an investigator. I'm out here as an
Yeah.
executioner. What's up?
There it was. Yeah.
Like, oh,
God,
fuck.
great line. Great line.
Yeah.
And so they
Mhm.
come face to face, nose to nose. And right before we get down to the throwdown, here comes the Kingdom and Roderick Strong. And again,
This
we
is
talked
where Samoa works when you're
Yes.
interrupting from afar.
Well,
Right.
yes. However, and this is just a critique, when he goes Samoa, but then he goes Joe, and then
Joe. Yeah. Don't do that. Yeah.
just do
Samoa,
Samoa
it's fine.
Joe.
Yeah.
Samoa Joe. Something. But anyhow, and hey, look, it's annoying. He's annoying, so maybe that's on purpose, right? It gets us talking. It's a tad bit of a corny thing to do, but hey, neck strong, neck the halls, by the way, for all those who celebrate. And they come out. So it's Roderick Strong and the Kingdom, and he goes, by the way, guys, we all know it's MJF. Look, Jay White challenges him. Jay White gets beat up. The Acclaimed lose a match that he's in. The Acclaimed get beat up. And then he says, no one actually saw MJF get jumped. So how do you know it wasn't just him?
Facts.
Right?
Facts.
And
that was my thought when I saw MJF laying there. I was like, we didn't see him get attacked.
We did not see him get attacked. And so he's insisting that it's MJF this entire time. And again, Hangman's like, I'm not trying to play your game of Clue. I don't give a shit, really. So stop saying my name.
I don't fucking care. Yeah, he was
like, I don't care.
All you guys is fucking drunk.
Yeah, I don't care about this.
Like, why would I give a fuck about this?
Yeah, because honestly, look, MJF accusing Hangman is fine because MJF is paranoid and he thinks maybe everyone's doing it, right? But let's not forget, Hangman is 3 weeks removed from Swerve Strickland breaking into his house and standing over his child's crib. He don't give a fuck right now about the world title. You know what I'm saying? So, it was a good, logical fuck off from Hangman. But what that led into was our first match of the night. We get Hangman Adam Page versus Roderick Strong. And man, these guys did a lot of living, as I like to say. What'd you think of this opening match? And if you want to, what do you think about that opening promo?
Yeah, the promo I liked a lot. The back and forth. I like this intersection that we're doing here of everybody, right? Everybody's kind of tense, fighting amongst each other. It's not just, these paths never shall cross, right? I like a lot of that. I like Hangman just basically being like, fucking bring it then. What do you want? You know what I mean? Like, I like that we get depressed, sad Hangman sometimes, anxiety Hangman, but he's never like scared, right? He's not a puss. He's not backing off from nothing. He's ready to fight. So I like that. This is somewhat a pet peeve of mine. Sure, okay, Roddy Strong was scheduling a match with Hangman right now, but they just so happen to also be arguing about something unrelated at the same time, and now they just have here so we can just ring the bell right away, right? Because, like, a referee gets in there before they ever told us that these two are supposed to have a match right now. That little detail bothered me.
I understand that criticism. I will say what AEW did ahead of time, though, was they did tell us this match was going to happen. To your point, though, wow, isn't that convenient? They're all standing there together.
Yeah.
One thing that a WWE trope would be is, well, then let's just get a referee out here. And it's like, okay, hold on. So did we not have anything planned?
Who was supposed to wrestle, right?
Yeah, who was supposed to be in this spot? If it just
who got booked?
Yeah.
Did they get their match bonus? What happens here?
Yeah, exactly. So,
but do that. In fact, do that. Then somebody could be like, you fucking bumped my match. I needed that goddamn cash, dog. I'm coming for you now. You know what I mean? You owe me a match.
I would love that. With this match, though, they go back and forth. One thing, though, I will say that was fun is remembering the history. I like how AEW does that because they have Ring of Honor, which so many of these people come from. So they'll reference it. But one of the things that Roderick Strong said as he was walking down, he was, hey, Hangman, remember you were my young boy? Which was one of the things. And so I like that reference of like, we have history. Yep. You're a bitch.
Yeah, he's like, I forgot. Or somebody's like, I'll always remember or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, so it was good. So going to this match, though, we had a lot of fun spots. That damn Roderick Strong drop your back on the top turnbuckle when they're standing. Fuck that, man. That shit hurts. But then Hangman doing the dive and all that stuff. We had a lot of fun here. Hangman gets the victory with the dead eye, which it didn't hit. Which, look, I'm not wanting him to because couple weeks ago, Roger Strong fell on his neck. So let's not really, do that again. But he wins with the dead eye, and that was our opener. And so we move on.
I kind of wish, what really threw me for a loop, like when I was complaining earlier about like, oh, this is a match now, is because I really like during the promo when Hangman walloped and hit Roddy Strong, like hit him in the neck, he should have been like re-paralyzed, and they should have like all like been in a panic and medics out there and like helping him out and everything. But whatever, we got this. This was fine. Match was good. Again, look, we've always said before, we don't necessarily think this now, but we used to call Roddy Strong the man that charisma forgot, because we were like, hey man, you get him in the match, it's awesome. Right. But outside of it, but that's flipped now. Not even flipped. Like he's come up on the other side, giving us some good stuff here. But yeah, so this match was fine. I mean, I don't think it moved much of the storyline, right? Just kind of kept us in where we were at.
Well, we were talking about the devil, so we'll put a pin in it for now, but we will revisit the devil as we get back to the episode here. One thing that I was going to say though is that that the man charisma forgot. I think that's moved to Johnny Gargano. I think Johnny Gargano has he's a great wrestler, but man, fucking boring.
Well, I call him Wardlow right now, but
well, Wardlow at least yells. You know what I mean? Wardlow's at least, if you've never seen wrestling, you're like, well, who's that guy? Johnny Gargano is like that fucking math teacher who's trying to wrestle with fucking, the janitor's trying to get in there. What the fuck? He's just Mr. Everyday
Youth
guy.
Camp leader right here.
Yeah. What's the fucking band leader for the local church trying to do being wrestling?
This barista over here. What are we talking about?
Yeah. Why is Starbucks worker getting in the ring? Okay. Anyhow, let's get back to the action here. We get a Continental Classic Blue League match, which I thought was interesting because I thought, again, I don't know rules. I don't know much, but I thought blue was Collision, gold was Dynamite.
Oh,
but here's the blue.
Man, I also. Why those colors? Did they ever tell us what those colors' significance was? I don't know why.
Well, they did a conference. I missed it. They did. As we get into the new year, I will double down on AEW stuff. Hint, hint, hint. But they had a conference and they said it, but I didn't catch why. So what we get in this match, though, is the man who fucking owns the room when he walks in it, Brody King, taking on Andrade El Idolo. And Brody King makes his entrance. He's scary as shit. Andrade makes his entrance. You got fucking CJ Perry wearing a condom as a dress or something. Fucking skin tight plastic.
This ain't working, right?
She's not working. Look, here's the thing. Can we have a quick side?
Can we say she's never really worked all that well other than early Lana?
When she was doing Russian Lana, that shit was awesome.
That's what I mean. Early Lana, once we got past Rusev Day, nothing from her has been.
Well, and this is even worse. And here's the thing that I'll say. Side quest. I get it. Wrestling guy fans, straight wrestling guy fans, she's easy on the eyes, right? I get it. Kind of like Sky Blue, easy on the eyes. But let's be a little bit better than that, right? We don't just have to like them because they're attractive. She is someone, in my opinion, who needs structure. I think she works better in WWE because she had the scripted promo. When she just says, or when she's just told, go out there and do it, she doesn't know where to look. She's kind of saying something, then she stops. She doesn't know where to go. She gets flustered. She's awful, like awful. This ain't working with Andrade. Andrade always needs a manager for some reason. Here's the other side quest. I don't think Andrade's working. I just think he is
not working. And I've heard enough people say like, oh, they're not booking him. Like, I've never seen anything when he was over there, when he was here, that has ever made me think like, this is the fucking dude. This is the guy I've got to show people about. I've got to talk. Like, he's boring. I think he's the man that charisma forgot.
I mean, you have a strong argument. I wouldn't fight you on it. If we're handing that title out, I'm going to go Johnny Gargano. But if you told me Andrade, I wouldn't fight you on it. I just think, the phrase that I like to use is all sizzle, no steak. He walks out and he does the mask thing. He looks the part, but then there's no story. He's never had a story.
Did you see the Alberto Del Rio 5
Oh,
people.
Now,
Okay.
from all accounts, Andrade is not a piece of shit like Alberto Del Rio.
Correct. Right. Yeah.
But
We're not saying the
there
same.
are-
Not trying to
yeah.
compare them in that way. It
Right,
reminded
but
me of
as-
that kind of thing where everybody was like, "This is the guy," and it was like, "Is it? Is it?"
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So here we go, though. But we get this matchup, and it's a good one because, again, Andrade can wrestle well, and Brody King has the charisma, has the moves, gets the crowd into it. I think he's the coolest part of House of Black.
He's a guy unequivocally that, again, if you show non-wrestling fan, casual wrestling fan is a term we like to throw around that nobody really has ever defined. And, anything, right? You show them and they go, oh, yeah, okay, this guy looks like he could murder a human being, and he looks like he actively desires to do just that.
Yeah. I think the moment that still comes to my mind with Brody King and me just be like, this dude's fucking awesome, is on the apron having Darby Allin in that chokehold.
Yeah.
Darby goes out and he just lets him fall. Like right there, you're the fucking man. So that's what I'll say.
Yeah.
However,
Apex Predator,
Andrade.
as they say.
yeah. However, in this matchup, Andrade gets the win. So he picks up the hammerlock DDT, gets the pin. And that means now, as of this match, I'll read you the standings because I wrote them down. The Blue League standings are as follows. Andrade, 9 points with 2 matches left. Brody King, 6 points with 2 matches left. Bryan Danielson, who Andrade also beat on Saturday's Collision, 6 points, 2 matches left. Eddie Kingston, 3 points, 3 matches left. Claudio, 3 points, 2 matches left. So he's on the bubble. And then unfortunately, Daniel Garcia, whatever you want to call him, 0 points, 3 matches left. However, eliminated.
Out. Yeah, man.
So
I hope Andrade doesn't win again and isn't even in this finals because I just don't like this guy, right?
Well, so
whatever.
Who out of this are you picking to lead the Blue League in the finals? Who you got?
I feel like Eddie Kingston's in that match, right? I feel like he's in that match, but is it Cesaro or is it Danielson? Is kind of where I'm at.
I think Claudio's out.
Maybe
I think Claudio.
Maybe Brody, but
Brody would be the coolest. Brody would be the one that if you want to turn some heads and say Brody King won the whole fucking thing, people would like, oh, because the thing that I think you may run into that could hurt you is just going chalk, right? Is it just saying it's Danielson and Moxley, and the winner is, Moxley.
Oh, I thought you meant like who's getting to the Blue League finals, like who had because they do a face-off, right? Like
yes, but I asked you, who do you think gets out of the Blue League?
The
like,
whole
who do you
thing.
think is who do you think wins the whole thing right now?
Gosh. Yeah, that's tough, man, because it and we'll talk about it later. It feels like, man, you can pencil in Moxley, doesn't it? And then so then, are we going to do this? Oh, we're pitting Blackpool Combat Club against Blackpool Combat Club? I don't really want to do that for all of this, other than it's just their pride, right? Like, of course, we're on top of the mountain. That would be boring, though. So I'm going to go with, I feel like it's Eddie. I think we're going to, but then we'd be revisiting the Eddie versus Blackpool Combat Club, I don't.
Well, but Eddie versus specifically John Moxley is fun.
It is fun. And we could tell, we can always tell that story, right? They're going to come in and out of hating and loving the rest of their life. Dysfunctional relationship, right?
Yeah, I think I would go Eddie.
Man, I would put it all on Brody King, but
Yes, I would say the cool pick, the one that gets casuals and everyone talking, would be Brody King comes out of the Blue League. But for the story and who the fuck he is, Eddie Kingston. Because one thing that he said when he beat Claudio is he's like, I don't know who I got next. Who do I got next? Is it Andrade? Who at Brody King? He goes, I'm gonna beat your ass. And you know what? Blame Bryan Danielson. That's who you got to blame for this ass whooping. It's gonna be great.
A thing about Eddie Kingston doing it is maybe they already knew he was the one to win it all, and that's why they go, oh, the winner's going to be this Triple Crown champion now, because it's just easy to, he's just going to be earning the third accolade already, right? Like, so maybe it is Eddie Kingston. Maybe it's already planned. We
will see. All right, so we go backstage. Let's get back on track here.
This is an Eddie Kingston podcast.
If you talk, here's the thing. After the rebrand, currently, whatever, any time of the day, if you talk smack legitimately about Eddie Kingston, you can walk to the ocean, and then when you get there, keep walking. I never want to hear from you. Look, I accept all wrestling fans. Like I said, the wrestling world is big enough to where whatever you like is fine, whatever I like. But the thing you cannot do is disparage the name of Eddie Kingston. Don't fucking do it.
He's got King in his name. That should let you know what's up.
He's the Mad King, 730. That means he's insane. You want to talk shit on that guy?
I've met him. He's unstable.
I've met him. He's great.
I know. He's great, but you can tell you're like, dude, you don't fuck with this guy.
You don't fuck with him. Look, you think Swifties are fucking bad?
Yeah.
The Kingstons over here, we'll slit your throat.
There's something in the small of the back. There's something in the hoodie. Probably something in the sock for you. You better watch out.
What do we call ourselves? So there's Swifties for Taylor Swift. We call us the Kingstons? No, that doesn't sound. We got to come up with a cool name. The Mad Kings, something like that. But I'm the leader of this fucking thing. And if you talk shit on Eddie Kingston, I'll rip your toenails off. Fucking do it. All right, let's get back on track.
Get Ash to steal your shoes.
Yeah, and then I'll rip your toenails off. That your feet
already
are gonna
flying them
be fucked. Yep, I'm already flying them out. Got the money right here. All right, so we go backstage, and the Von Erichs are there. Okay, and Orange Cassidy.
We're plugging a
walks
movie.
up.
Okay,
Yeah. Well, and it's Texas, right? The Von Erichs, Texas. Right. Perfect, synergy there. The Von Erichs are there, and then Orange Cassidy, Danhausen, and Trent walk up, and Orange Cassidy says, "Hey, you two Von Erichs, I got a match on Rampage. I need 2 guys. You want in?" And Danhausen's like, "Well, what about us?" He goes, "It's Texas." And Danhausen goes, "All right." And then they all put their hands in. And one of my favorite things of the whole night was Danhausen, because they say, "All right, hands in." And he goes, "Giddy up on 3."
Yeah, because of her horse thing. Yeah. Yeah, you can tell that threw her for a loop too. She's like, "You motherfucker," because that wasn't part of the line. Yeah. But even after Orange Cassidy's It's Texas line, and they're like, oh, okay, Trent still was like, "Man, motherfucker," this ain't right, man. Like, you got, there was a little bit there with him still. We've had a little bit of this untouched, little bit of resentment from Trent towards Chuck's Way for a couple of years now. When is that ever gonna boil up and come to the surface?
I don't know. It would be interesting. I think so. Because here's the interesting part right now, I believe, for Orange Cassidy is he's told the best story he could with the international championship. So I don't know what you do next. The only thing I think that could be interesting is a Trent story. Is Trent saying, "Hey, man, you're not really my friend, are you? You're only caring about that title. So now I'm going to take that title from you." And Orange Cassidy doing the like, "What are you talking about? Whatever, but you're not taking this." And then they do a feud. But yeah, because one thing I was thinking about is whoever wins this Continental Classic, whoever that winner is, I think we need to have a unification title for title, and it turns into one with the international champion and the Continental champion. Too many fucking belts, Unless
there's too many things going on, especially since ROH things are fucking being defended here. I'm like, God, we got too much going on.
Yeah, unless you're just saying kind of like the Owen Hart Classic, where the Continental Classic is just the yearly winner. Here's my belt. I won this year, but I don't defend it. It's just like how the Owen Hart thing is.
That's what bothered me. So they call this a Triple Crown, right? And I don't know how that one over there works in Japan, right? The most famous
G1 or whatever, yeah.
But like, you're talking about 2 titles that were being independently defended, and now this is a yearly tournament winner, but you call it the Triple Crown. Does he defend the Triple Crown in its entity? Can somebody win the Triple Crown from him, or can they only win like the 2 titles? Like, how does that work? I need somebody to explain.
Or just one, yeah. It's a little.
Can he break apart the Triple Crown? He will have won the Triple Crown, but does that mean he is the Triple Crown until somebody beats him? If somebody beats him for one of the titles, do they get 2? Do they get 3? Do they get any? Like, what is going on? I don't know.
Yeah. Too much. It's too much. That's for sure. So we shall see. All right, now let's get into what was earlier talked about. One of the more cringeworthy segments in Dynamite history. We have Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega walk out. And then Big Bill and Ricky Stark walk out. And we're just doing zingers for about 6 minutes too long. Here's the thing why I think it was bad. When you give talent who's over, Kenny Omega, Chris Jericho, Ricky Starks, Big Bill to a certain extent, right? And you just say, go out and have fun. You get this sometimes where it's interruptions over the microphone. Let's call you, what was it? Rick and the Dick or something like that. And that's not over.
Yeah.
And then
Big Billy Starks. And
yeah,
then
whatever.
Excalibur had to jump in and be like, somebody's actually named Billy Starks. You know what I mean? Yeah. We'll be wrestling for this fucking week. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, she's in the main event of Ring of Honor's pay-per-view this Friday night. Yeah, it's just too much. And then Omega brings up the Firm and he calls it an angle.
Yeah, they had no good lines.
Yeah.
When they were doing all this weird shit later. Like, this was really bad. I wanted none of this. And I mean, like, look, even Ricky was doing the best he could out there with that, right? But was just like this. I mean, this was bad. This was all bad all the way around.
I will say the one zinger that may have got to him was when I believe it was Kenny Omega or maybe it was Chris Jericho. I can't remember, when he was like, "You're a better dressed, less charismatic Enzo." And I was like,
yeah.
That's pretty good. Because
then I like when he was like, at least Enzo would hype him up. And,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I was like, ooh, okay, that was good.
That's a pretty good one. But all of this is
but then he almost called himself the Winnipeg Jets one time instead of
yeah. But this all leads to, at World's End, a world champion or tag team world championship match. It will be Big Bill and Ricky Starks versus the Golden Jets of Kenny Omega, Chris Jericho. We will have our picks when that comes up, but I will say this: it's going to be Ricky Starks and Big Bill, because that's when the Young Bucks come back and cost the Golden Jets the titles. There it is. Let's have fun. Hey, Tim, as we move on, it's not before the main event. It's at the top of the hour. We get Rio and Ruby Soho with the incomparable, timeless Toni Storm and Mariah May holding the title. And here's the thing I love. So first off, Toni Storm, A+ on commentary. Also, A+ to the production team, because I put their feet to the fire a lot, and deservingly so. However, this commitment to every time they show Toni Storm, it goes back to black and white.
Old timey, yeah.
Is perfect.
Not even black and white. They have the old timey like pops and squiggles. Yes. Like they go over. Yeah. Uh-huh.
I can't remember a commitment to a bit like this, because typically when it's whatever it is gimmick, if they go out and interact with others, the others overtake it, right? It's then the black and white goes away and they're just on comment, but not with Toni Storm. She is flawless right now.
Yeah, everything's in color. Cut the commentary. There's her in black and white. If she's on the screen, everything's black and white.
I love it.
As soon as she's not on the screen too, right? Like Luther can open the door, right? And everything's color, but as soon as Toni Storm steps out, we are black and white. Love it. I love when she was like, "I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. Khan." And then she's just doing stupid faces. Love it.
She was great. The match was the match. Rio and Ruby Soho. Look, Ruby Soho sucks. I'm sorry. Also, side quest. I got a conspiracy theory. Because my wife brought it up and then it made me think. So Ruby Soho is named after the song Ruby Soho, Destination.
Yep.
Okay. So she came out originally to that song, Destination, Ruby, Ruby, right? Well, now she doesn't. And she comes out to the Outcast song, right? Because it's her and Saraya. Right. However, conspiracy theory, you want secret time conspiracy theory? I bet you the band who is best friends with CM Punk said, "You ain't using our song anymore, AEW." Oh. I bet you that's what it is.
They're good friends with CM Punk. Ew.
That's what I'm saying.
Ew.
Huh? You think it's that?
Even though they gave her because I thought they had given her special permission to use it.
Yeah, well, that's what I think. I think Rancid is the band. I think they are friends with Ruby Soho, but I think they're more friends with CM Punk, and because that relationship has dissolved, I'm just saying, next time she wrestles, see if she comes out to that song.
People who like did a cool thing once and just keep living off of that same cool thing over and over and over again for the next 30 years are friends with CM Punk? That's crazy. Look,
Rancid was a good band. Rancid was a good band. Okay.
Yeah, but they weren't. CM Punk was a good wrestler.
No, he wasn't. That's the thing. He never was.
Oh, he never was.
He never was a good wrestler.
Not even the once. I meant the promo. I was saying the pipe bomb as they did the cool thing once.
Yep, there it is. Yeah, that's it. So, getting back on track
it's
here.
his Ruby Soho, right? It's the
that
one
is.
Like, yeah, but remember that? And I'm like, okay, but like, there's other the rest of the discography this sucks. Okay.
Rancid's okay. Just I like Rancid, but yes, I get what you're saying. But in this matchup, all right, let's get back on track. Rio versus Ruby Soho. I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best here. I don't like Rio. I understand a lot of people do. Like I said, wrestling's big enough. If you like her, awesome. But please don't make me like her because I don't.
Yeah, but again, nobody's told me why, right? And you don't have to. I'm not owing an explanation if you like something. That's I'm not too much hubris for that. But like, yeah, like you're saying, don't expect me to fucking play along and get it because you haven't explained. You guys are just like, cause Rio doesn't do any cool move that nobody else is doing, right? Like you said, doesn't do anything unique. Only looks
she doesn't
do anything unique.
Yeah, she doesn't wrestle to her skill set or her body size, and her look is disturbing to me. I don't like the Hello Kitty Japanese culture, so that's not for me. All I'm gonna say is she better not beat Timeless Toni Storm. Toni Storm for champion for 2024 until something cooler happens. The only one that
again, there's no story in that, right? There's no story that now Rio's the champion. Like, no story is told, right? She doesn't speak. She doesn't do anything. If we're telling an underdog story with Rio, there's a story to be had or something, I guess, right? But, like, they're not doing that now. It's just Rio's back and ready to fight, and, like, they can't win a fucking title, and that's the...
Yeah.
Right?
I agree. I really think, and I've said it before, and maybe this will be my Christmas wish when we get to that next week, maybe week after. I don't know. Are we going to do that next week? Yeah,
we'll it's coming up quick.
Coming up quick. Good luck. I think one of my Christmas wishes is going to be giving the women a dedicated show. Not to say that it's 2 hours of whatever. I'm just going to say one of the shows, Rampage, Collision, Dynamite, has 2 or more women's matches.
Oh, that would be amazing. Let's give them. Yeah, what's the 1 hour shows? Rampage and Collision are both 1 hour.
No, Collision's 2.
Collisions 2? Yeah, let's give Rampage.
That's what I'm saying. I really think going to the show, Tony Khan, hire me. Side quest. This is how you need to do it. I understand sometimes we have on Dynamite, we'll announce a match for Rampage, right? Oh, me and you had a promo battle. Well, let's wrestle at Rampage, right? And that happens. Stop that. Make it for Collision. Record or tape, however you want to say it, Rampage before Dynamite. Put the women there when the crowd's at the most hype. That will get them over quicker because everyone's excited to be at the wrestling show. Then do Dynamite. And then on the cliffhanger, we all leave happy because like we see at the end of this show, we left with the cliffhanger and we want to talk about it. Hire me, Tony.
Love it. Great ideas.
Yes, 100%. Okay, after that, Rio gets the victory. Timeless Toni Storm gets her close up. And then we go to a video of Wardlow, who needs a haircut. That's all I'm going to say. He says something about the devil and, I don't know, Samson or something.
He's spiraling out of control, right? Like Wardlow's a little out of his mind right now.
Which is cool. Well, that's okay. I can get into like a crazed maniac, but like stop with the vignettes. Chase him, right? Be in his locker room. Well, he's not there this week. You know what I mean? Do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, just give us a little more of lean into what we're saying. If that's the route we're going, is that he's slowly dwindling into this over obsession and can't get over what happened to him in the past. Then I need to see it a little more than just like, I'm angry at you, MJF. I'm coming for you. It's like, all right, you said that 3 weeks run.
Yeah, I would almost make it how I would do this again. if I had the pin, side quest, is I would almost make it to where his obsession is costing him other things. So, for example, Tony Khan, let's just say it's Tony Khan, goes, Wardlow, look, you've been a valuable member of AEW. I understand your frustration with MJF, but because of your victories by knockout, we want to give you a shot at the TNT champion, right? It's Christian Cage and you next week at Collision, and he doesn't show up because he's still looking for MJF. So Christian Cage celebrates a count out victory, and he gets to, smell my dick and all that stuff.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But Wardlow is missing out on all of these things because only thing he can focus is MJF. And MJF is like, I'm not going to be around that fucking psycho.
Tony Khan's like, hey, we're going to give you a TNT title match. And be like, I don't want that. I want MJF. And be like, okay, but like, you can't have that now. A TNT title match. And be like, no. And be like, what? You know what I mean? Just be like, okay, right?
Yeah.
Just be like, oh, fucking weirdo.
Or you could just be like, hey, we have an injury. Oh, do this. Another missed opportunity for him. Hey, we have an injury in the Continental Classic. Roosh cannot make it. He's actually out. Now he has 6 points. You could still make it into the finals. Here's your opportunity. And Wardlow's like, I don't want that. And he's like, it's a great opportunity. He's like, fine. But then he doesn't show up because he's in MJF's locker room, or he got in his car and he left because he thought MJF's car left. And then he's fucked himself.
He could even be like getting ready to go in. And then like MJF walks by and he's like, motherfucker. And
exactly,
they're like playing his music and they're like, dude, fucking, you gotta go. And he'll be like,
yeah,
I'm out of here. Fuck
you. I'm out of here. I gotta find him. Yeah. And it's this like cat and mouse thing. That's what I would do. Okay. All right, let's get back on track. We get back into the Continental Classic Gold League, and it's Roosh, as mentioned, taking on Jay Lethal. And here's the cool part about this, I think, and I'll get your thoughts on it. Roosh wins. Well, no, Roosh wins with a rear naked choke, the same way he lost to John Moxley. So yep. I like that. John, Moxley, I haven't forgot about that shit. So what do you think about this kind of, I'm going after Moxley because I want revenge, but I'm also Roosh and I want points? How do you feel about that?
I think this is where you can tell great stories in this kind of format with that exact thing there, right? I have been very worried about like, okay, we've made a lot to do now, and we've sort of built up Roosh and Brody King. And I'm worried they're both just going to have nothing waiting on them afterwards.
That is, yeah.
And so like we at least got a little bit here with this Roosh thing, and maybe we'll see that later, right? Maybe I wouldn't mind a Roosh Moxley little mini feud for a while, right?
Mm-hmm,
like let's do that on the side. But it just like, I don't know what else they have for him. Like I know you could come up with a great idea, but I don't see that they're going to have anything for Roosh after this, right? Like, I don't know.
He has the group, right? He has LFI. And I think we could do something with the, hey, I failed, but I'm still your leader. And you could have some dissension of like, this guy couldn't even make it to the semis and I'm supposed to be following him. And you could have some dissension. Yeah. And that's where one thing that I think wrestling should pull on, especially with groups, is the Sopranos effect, I call it. Where, did you ever watch The Sopranos?
Enough to know, but like, okay. Yeah, it's that like positioning and backstabbing. And that's what I've said, like, yeah.
Well, there's a part of The Sopranos, and I call it the Soprano effect. I don't know if it's even called that, but there's this little part in The Sopranos where they're getting a little bit too cute, too like comfortable, right? The audience is like, well, they're so great, they're so nice, and oh, I know they're gangsters, but I mean, come on,
murder a motherfucker.
But then there's an episode where they have a reset and they fucking show like curb stomps and shots to the back of the head, and they're like, we're not good people, right? I think obviously you can't shoot people in the back of the head, but what I'm saying here is after this tournament, Roosh is being questioned by his group of like, hey, we're kind of just hanging out and doing stuff. And Roosh makes an example out of
mob boss on him.
Yes. He grabs someone, not even from their group, but like someone from that. Let's say it's Mark Briscoe, right? And goes, making an example out of this motherfucker. And like, damn near kills him. And everyone backs up and is like, oh, okay. This is fucking Roosh's group. You know what I mean?
You know what, man? I'm thinking Continental Classic, man. I'm expanding this field next year, and I'm running this longer. I kind of like it. I like the storytelling we get. I like the series of matches, and I wouldn't mind if we had like 2 extra folks in each league on this thing. Run this round robin.
Well, yeah, or make another color, right? You have blue, you have gold, and you have I don't know, platinum.
Let's get let's get 4 groups that meet into a 4 playoff system, right? Like,
yeah, I wouldn't hate that at all. All right. So as mentioned, Roosh gets the victory, rear naked choke.
You could have 4 groups with 4 winners. They do a round robin.
I love it.
Whatever.
Then we keep moving on with the Continental Classic Gold League. We get Jay White and Mark Briscoe. A little bit more competitive from Mark Briscoe, but Jay White picks up the victory here. And so afterwards, we have Gold League standings before the main event. Jon Moxley, 9 points, 2 matches remaining. Swerve, 9 points, 2 matches remaining. Jay White, 9 points, 1 match remaining. Roosh, 6 points, 1 match remaining. He has actually been eliminated. Mark Briscoe and Jay Lethal, both 0 points. They have also been eliminated. So Roosh gets the rear naked choke, but because Jay White won, he gets eliminated. So how you feel about that?
Fine.
All right. Well, as mentioned, I talked about Billy Starks is a wrestler. She is in Ring of Honor. She's going to be in the main event against Athena. And they do a video package here that also on Friday night, a match that is going to kick all of the ass, Tim. It's going to kick all of the ass. It is going to be the Blackpool Combat Club. Claudio, Moxley, Danielson taking on Mark Briscoe and FTR in a Ring of Honor final battle to honor the memory of Jay Briscoe. As mentioned, year ago was the best dog collar tag team match of all time, Briscoes versus FTR. Now we're going to add the Blackpool Combat Club, FTR and Mark Briscoe in his honor. They're going to murder each other and then hug afterwards. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Bloody hugs after the show for sure. I'm excited for that. They are going to go all out, right?
Yeah. I'm on the fence about buying the pay-per-view just because it's Christmas time and fucking money can be tight a little bit. However, I'm so happy that the women are main eventing. Ring of Honor is giving a better platform to women's wrestling than AEW is, to be honest. But this match might be worth the price of admission. Like Blackpool Combat Club, FTR, Mark Briscoe.
It's going to be good.
Ooh, it's going to be good.
It's going to be good.
All right. Then we get to our main event. Here it is. Continental Classic Gold League. Jon Moxley taking on Swerve Strickland and son of a bitch, Tim. Everyone was on their feet. I was standing up. The crowd was standing up. I think you were standing up. We were into this shit before they even locked up. What did you think of this main event before we get to the winner?
Love it. We had some build up for this from last week, and Swerve's been on a hot streak, and they delivered here. Swerve, every bit in his zone right now, looking fucking money, right? The outcomes threw me for a loop. I didn't necessarily know for sure that I was like, oh, Swerve's going to win this, right? But I felt like after he didn't, it felt weird, right?
But it was kind of cool that he really didn't lose. That's the thing, is his shoulder was completely up. Now, it is 2023. We are going into 2024. A lot of us are on our phone more than watching the television. However, sometimes I wish they had this on the TV show. But Moxley did a post-match promo after he won this match with the roll-up. And he goes, Swerve, I taught you a lesson only I could teach you. Yeah, was your shoulder up? But I told you I would do anything to beat you. And I did. So you're going to have to live with that. And I love that because Moxley is one of the greatest characters in pro wrestling and currently obviously in AEW because he's just a shapeshifter, right? This match, look, Jon Moxley, I'll tell you my analogy in a little bit, but Jon Moxley was getting booed for this match. He was kind of playing the heel
100%.
and Swerve was the babyface.
Jon Moxley is that shapeshifter, whereas it's not even a shapeshifter. Jon Moxley is being Jon Moxley at all times. Whether you like what he's doing or not, that's up to you, man. That's between you and your therapist. He is just doing what he does. The thing that I was thinking about trying to equate what Jon Moxley is in AEW is, and follow me here, I think he's chocolate ice cream.
And what I mean by that is everyone always says vanilla ice cream is just the standard, right? Well, he's not that. Obviously, he's a step above, right? Chocolate ice cream. Let's just all say we all love chocolate ice cream, right? So anytime you have chocolate ice cream, you're happy. You like it. It's great. But then you got people like Swerve Strickland, and it's chocolate ice cream with Rocky Road and sprinkles. And you're like, well, but I like that one a little bit more. And like, so you hate chocolate ice cream? No. I still like chocolate ice cream, but I like all the other extra stuff.
This is great. This is Tom's version of the tofu promo, but tofu was like, this is why you're bad, because tofu is only good with somebody else. But we're saying chocolate ice cream is great, but then you make chocolate ice cream and some sprinkles. Holy shit.
and then that's when you get these reactions where, let's look, we can say what we want, but when we were in Chicago, that was a pro CM Punk crowd, right? So John Moxley was being John Moxley, the chocolate ice cream, but in Chicago, it was chocolate ice cream versus chocolate ice cream with whipped cream and marshmallows and stuff. And you're like, well, but that's a little bit cooler. You know what I mean? And so, he's consistently.
It was less CM Punk than they like to think it was, though. It was
100%. Yeah. Especially in our little crowd, that fucking guy that just like, you're the worst. I was like, did he rape you? What is your problem with this guy? Jesus Christ.
He did not stop.
I know.
Ragging on CM Punk all night. I was
just like, brother, I get it, but like, on the fuck down. Yeah, that guy.
I know, man, but we all know now. Like, it's cool. CM Punk heard you. That's why he came out here.
So that's that's how I feel. It's like John Moxley is always consistently awesome, but there's gonna be times when things bubble up and get added onto, and such as the case with Swerve Strickland, where you go, but I like this one a little bit more, but you don't hate what John Moxley's doing. So that's how I feel about that. But as mentioned, John Moxley gets the victory. So here is what our totals are for the Gold League at the end of the night. John Moxley, 12 points, 1 match remaining. Swerve Strickland, 9 points, 1 match remaining. Jay White, 9 points, 1 match remaining. So those two are on the bubble. And then, as mentioned, Roosh was 6, Briscoe and Jay Lethal was 0. Those three
Moxley's
have been eliminated.
in the semifinals at this point.
Yeah,
right? Like, he's locked in.
It's gonna be
he
either
could flat out
Swerve,
purposely lose the next match, and maybe he does. Right? Maybe he's like, serve my energy, fucking walk out, count out. You know.
So you think, logically speaking, here that it's going to be Swerve advances, Moxley advances, and we run this one back, and that's maybe where Swerve gets his revenge.
And then we get Eddie Kingston versus Swerve for the Triple Crown. Ooh, and Swerve might win that.
That would be a fresh matchup. That would be super cool.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and
if Swerve
had, like, just the.
Oh yeah, but if Swerve wins, I feel like they'll go Danielson. I think they'll say, which we've seen that, right? We saw that when we were in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Or an Independence watch, which was a great match.
Swerve Kingston, it could just start a rivalry, you know? Like those two could hate each other just like, you know what I mean? Fucking
the two best people in the world. I love Eddie Kingston. He's the best. Man, that'd be hard for me because I'd still want to do this.
I know. But
it's Eddie Kingston.
We got Hangman hanging around with his white horseman. We got too many.
We got some awesome people right now. People. But the show is not over, Tim. As I mentioned, we're taking the pin out from the earlier portion of this show, the starting segment, where we go outside and the Devil's Henchmen, which I counted was 4, attack Hangman. And they are beating him up, and they're beating him up. To his credit, Hangman's using his luggage to fight him off and punch him and kick him, but then 4 against 1 takes him out. Car drives up. The Devil gets out, nods. And then they choke slam him on the windshield, which makes you think, how are they getting home? They just ruined their own car. You know what I mean? That's
fuck. Now we got an Uber. We're wearing these masks. Nobody's gonna pick us up like this.
You know what I mean? How are you gonna cab? Hey, fuck that Devil, man.
Fucking, God damn it! Now we gotta steal his car. See if he's got any keys on him for a rental. Look for a rental keys in his pocket.
But that was the first thing I thought of. I was like, you ruined your car. Why did you do that?
But the windshield, is that also a slight nod at Jack
Perry.
Perry.
Yes.
Mhm.
That's
Real
what-
Glass, Crimea River.
yeah. Which, you want to get into all this stuff. The other news story that we don't need to talk about, but I mentioned to you off air, was the Seth Rollins CM Punk promo. And Seth Rollins told CM Punk to cry him a river, which was a good nod to what Jack Perry said. I like that little slight at him.
Yeah.
By the way, that promo battle sucked because Seth Rollins just said everything Hangman did, and CM Punk was lost or either intimidated because he looked flustered.
Man, you know how I feel about Seth Rollins? I feel like Seth Rollins is really good at like his timing, his delivery, his like, you know what I mean? He's into this like crazed character. Like he gives everything he's got whenever he goes out there. But boy, man, whatever they're writing for him just ain't it, or he just ain't that creative. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, it's kind of like, it was like, man, this guy pulls everything off right like you're supposed to. But it just, I'm like, yeah, it feels like, I don't know how the best to describe it. You ever feel when somebody did, you're like, yeah, you did everything exactly how we expected you to do the job, but you didn't like wow me with any of it. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't over the top. Like it just didn't move me, right? Like I don't.
You know what I think it is? I just said John Moxley's chocolate ice cream. Seth Rollins is vanilla. It's fine, but vanilla is a good base for other things. You know what I mean?
Way better when something else makes me care. Yeah, exactly.
Yes. And so Seth Rollins does everything good. He can wrestle a match better than 98% of the wrestlers in the world.
He's tofu.
Yeah. I mean, a little bit.
Yeah, honestly, he is similar to Jay White in that how I feel, where I'm like, yeah, man, you look at him, you're like, all right, fit, do all the moves, he's got all the words, right? He's got swagger. When he walks in the room, you're like, all right, who's that? But like, it just still doesn't like you watch it and you're like, I don't really care if you get beat up or not. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't care. Like, I don't know.
One thing that's aggravating, and this is just a general gripe that I have, and it's not specific to Seth Rollins, it's actually to also my favorite football player in the world right now, Travis Kelce, is I don't like that you play dress up and you're like, I'm cool, this is what I wear, right? But then we fucking know that you don't wear that shit when you're at home or when you're just doing stuff. Right. Yeah.
And you didn't pick it out either. Like probably somebody else fucking like,
right.
It's like,
so like, it's not a genuine look that you're doing. You're just doing dress up. And I don't like that,
Yeah.
Like,
and in fact, it makes me think, somebody's paying you to wear that or somebody, and it's just like,
it's your friend's line or something like that. And and you're like, I get it. You have a platform, you want to help a friend or whatever that you want to get paid, but like, don't tell me that you're a fashionista when I see you do your podcast or when I see you do interviews and you're wearing a fucking hoodie.
You ain't wearing no bucket hat with a quilted fucking coat looking jacket, right? Like you don't do that when we see on the Kelsey cast, right? Or whatever that is.
Or when we see Seth Rollins do an interview for, a wrestling show.
He's
like
not
they're
wearing
all just in
red boots with weird sunglasses. Yeah.
You're wearing
now again,
gear.
with that, at least it's a character, right?
But but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
He's still saying Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When Stone Cold Steve Austin was doing interviews with Stone Cold Steve Austin, he was wearing Austin 316 shirts. You know what I mean?
It's true.
And I get that's easier to wear.
It was him. Yeah.
It was him. You know what I mean? So anyhow, all right, let's play this game, Tim, before we wrap up, because we like to do it until they tell us who it is. Tim, here it is. Who is the devil?
Right now, I'm torn between two. I'll say my 1B is MJF. My 1A is Adam Cole.
Ooh, okay. Okay. I am still sticking with the Jungle Man, Jack Perry. I'm still sticking with Jack Perry. Think that's who it is. Again, I think
he would most benefit from it.
Well, my logic behind it, and I could be wrong, but my logic behind it is you can't just have him walk out, right? You can't just be like, next week, the return of Jack Perry, because they're going to chant CM Punk over his fucking music. He's going to try to say something about Hook or whatever, and they're going to be like, CM Punk. So you got to bring him in big to where hopefully, look, dickheads are going to be dickheads. Someone's still going to be like, CM Punk. But like the general crowd would be like, why did you cost MJF the title? You know what I mean? And so you got to do something big. You can't just say, hey, remember the guy that got our biggest star fired? Well, here he is. Like, you can't do that.
Oh, what a crazy turn of events wrestling has been this year, Tom. And we're going to talk more about it, in the next coming weeks, like we said, right? We're going to have our Christmas. We're going to talk about our, year-end show where we kind of recap and give out awards and whatnot. And Michael Carter says, I love Adam for this. He's on the Adam Cole train, too, it seems like. They're in the chat. Yeah. So we'll talk more about this crazy year of wrestling. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, the thing that makes me think it can't be Adam Cole is because, now maybe I'm falling for a gimmick, but I think legitimately he had surgery on his ankle. So I don't know how he's walking, if that's
how quickly he's able to be back. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
Justin Floor in the chat too. Everybody's joining here.
I like it.
Jumping in late. The Devil was pretty swole last night. It really looked like MJF. MJF does the nod, right? Doesn't he normally do a nod? And then we got the glass. So I think there was there was a chance for you to think it was both, right?
Can I give you a theory that I love, that I read and I think it's awesome? It comes from a book called The Murder on the Orient Express. Have you ever read it?
But it's been, yeah.
Okay. So spoiler alert. It's also a movie too that Johnny Depp's in.
Yeah.
But spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Johnny Depp gets killed, right? Let's just go with the movie. Johnny Depp's character gets killed. And it's a whodunit, right? So we try to figure it out. And at the end, it was everyone. Everyone killed Johnny Depp. And so the theory could be...
Was the devil somebody different each time?
Yes, the devil is Wardlow. The devil is Jack Perry. The devil is Adam Cole. The devil is everyone who's been fucked over by MJF. And we're getting to MJF. Wouldn't that be fucking crazy?
That would be neat. That would be neat, but we'd have to have a lot of showing up to prove how we know it was all these folks at different times, right? Like we would have to have a massive investigation underway.
Yeah.
Mike Carter says, what up, my guys?
What up, man? Thanks for joining. We're just wrapping up.
Wrapping up, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. Well, let's also, since for people who are joining right now, I will kind of recap what we talked about earlier. The big news from us is that at the beginning of the year, we are going to be doing a rebrand. So more information coming. We will have new social media handles. So we will send that out to you directly. We'll also post it on our Substack. And so be on the lookout for that. More details on the way, but we're going to wrap up the Spanish announce table with our Christmas and year-end awards. And then start fresh in 2024 with the new name.
And with rebrand, you're not going to see a whole lot of difference in the show, what we're saying. We're changing names, some graphics, but we're still doing what we do here. We're just trying to tighten it up a little bit.
We're getting more focused on what we want to talk about. And as I mentioned, if you want to talk about things that you want to talk about, we're always open to that. Ash, at the beginning of the episode, wanted some UFC picks. So we gave him that, right? So we are not going to say any topic is off limits. However, with the rebrand, we will be more focused on what we want to talk about and who we want to reach out to. So be on the lookout for all that fun stuff in 2024. Yes.
Exciting times with the big news coming. Mike Hart says, I get it. Much love and support. And that's what we're here for, man. We like the love and support of everybody. I like seeing all these names in the chat. So we hope that continues, especially with next week. This one was a little quicker. Just, we've got some stuff going on. Today we're going to give you a little more time than this, but
yeah, well, actually next week we're going to do our Christmas list. So you guys that join,
Dear Santas.
Yeah, our Dear Santas, if you have some Christmas wishes, send them in. You can still send it into tableshow@gmail.com or join the chat and put your Dear Santas in there. What we typically do, for anyone who doesn't know, as we wrap up here, we will do a 3-wish. Tim and I bounce
like a Dear Santa, right? Yeah.
Dear Santa. We'll have 3 wishes a piece. And like I said, you guys can join in, or women, anyone is, is
for
welcome
so many
here.
Years. One of my dear Santas was, I want a viable number 2 wrestling promotion.
And
like
you
a
got
number
it.
2. And then we got it. Remember? And then the very first year was like, I want a number 3 viable wrestling
You're going number 3 now.
He was like, I need a 3rd. Well, because again, for me, 1 is not an option. So I still feel like I only have 1 option now. I got my second option, and it made me realize that was the only one so far, and I need a second now.
Yep. And then at the end of the year, we're going to do our year-end awards. We will give you those topics next week. So also think about that kind of stuff.
So yeah,
But
we want to hear
let's also-
your thoughts on all of these.
Yeah.
All of them.
But also, we're not going outside the box. So kind of already start getting up for your matches of the year, wrestlers of, So a lot of fun stuff as we end the year. And as mentioned at the beginning of the year, a new era, new me, new this, who dat, what up?
Yeah. New name, who dis.
Yeah, new name,
It'll be
who
fun.
dis.
I think people will get it, they'll understand, and I think they'll enjoy it, and we'll move along, and we'll all be happy. We'll all be the same happy community that we've been. I don't even know. I don't have a tagline to send us out this time. I'll just say stick with us through the end of the year, and let's all be friends and keep having fun right here on the Spanish Announce Table.
The Spanish Announce Table.